Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed your lunch break and you are ready for the next panel we are going to present you. But before we start, just a short reminder, this is panel 3, so if you would like to use our Ask Your Lecture applet, please type the password 3 times 3, free, 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 free. Ladies and gentlemen, starting third panel, we are going to stay with the topic connected to the military domain. So our next guest speakers will acquaint us with the military police-related projects, research fields, especially underscoring lessons they identify. So let me present them. We have with us Lieutenant Colonel Łukasz Waga and Major Paweł Lewandowski. Both officers represent Military Police Center of Excellence located in Bydgoszcz. Major Lewandowski is a staff officer from the Lessons Learned branch, and Colonel Waga is the head of this branch. Both of them have a huge experience serving in the international military environment, for example, in the Balkans, within the International Military Police Unit Operation Altea EUFOR. Gentlemen, nice to have you, and the floor is yours.
Good afternoon to all. Thank you very much, Colin, for this nice introduction. So I believe we can start with the presentation following the agenda. Do you see all our presentation displayed?
Yes, everything is okay and correct.
Okay, thank you very much. So once again, I would like to kindly welcome all participants of today's webinar. I am the Lessons Learned branch head, as I was introduced, serving with the NATO Military Police Center of Excellence located in Bydgoszcz, Poland. First of all, I wish to stress that I'm privileged to present you with the NATO MPCOE project on the MP Lessons Learned collection regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. Before I start an introductory part related to that research, I would like to inform you about the impact of the current crisis on the ongoing MPCOE activities and its daily routine. After I finish my brief, I shall give the floor to Major Lewandowski from my branch. Paweł will elaborate more on details regarding to that research. With regard to the impact of the current crisis on the MPCOE ongoing activities, we have decided to refer to it as resilience, in order to prove that our center is resilient to the crisis in terms of following both mission and vision. Respectful webinar participants, let me briefly draw your attention to the mission the MPCOE fulfills. The core tasks concern enhancement of MP capabilities, development of interoperability, and provision of subject matter expertise. In order to adapt ourselves to the new security environment, which is dictated by the COVID-19 outbreak, we have put safety and health first. It means that increased precautionary measures such as disinfection, social distancing, limited access to the military compound, and some others have been prioritized. Furthermore, bearing in mind a comprehensive insight and overview of the current situation, I would like to assure you that a proper reporting system is in place. The NATO MPCOE director reports to the following entities: Allied Command Transformation, Framework Nations Chain of Command, Steering Committee of our center. Additionally, the director is providing COVID-19 daily updates for all of the MPCOE members. It goes without saying that due to the ongoing situation, we had to introduce some changes in connection with our on-site events. Some of them have been either cancelled or postponed. Others have been transformed into webinars or VTC. What's more, we appreciate these new lessons identified. Thus, for the next year's planning, we are going to take more online solutions into considerations. Undoubtedly, e-learning courses are currently offered as the easiest way of educating. Our online courses, lessons learned, MP doctrine, and mobility support operations oriented, as you can see on the slide, on the left side, constitute good alternatives in times when all of us in NATO are having a kind of academic break. We believe that more blended education and training solutions should be built up within the NATO education and training portfolio. At an early stage of the pandemic, the NATO MPCOE staff changed the work mode into teleworking. We are still taking advantage of a GoToMeeting app. We are also sharing documents on a virtual cloud. Now we are operating in the shift system. Half of the personnel is working in the center's building, while another half is staying at home for home office mode. Apart from our daily business, not only have we supported an honorary blood donation initiative in person, but we have also encouraged our servicemen to help the local healthcare. Last but not least, we, the MPCOE, have come up with the MP Lessons Learned collection research at an early stage of the pandemic. So now let me bring your attention to the MP Lessons Learned project, which is in fact the main focus of our lessons learned business right now. What was the trigger for MP? The question. Well, the rationale is a lessons learned pursuit of answering a set of questions which pop up around the classical MP functions described in the standing doctrine. As such, being the hub for MP community of interest, we do strive to find out how MP forces operate in the new security conditions. Well, MPCOE started the military police lessons learned collection regarding the COVID-19 pandemic as the main project to support the fight against COVID-19. The center has been addressing primarily NATO and PFP national MP chiefs, as well as NATO HQ pro marshals, with a calling letter requesting feedback from operational activities within the crisis management system. That has only been a kick-off of the lessons learned campaign. As you can see on the slide, we have planned a few undertakings in order to garner complex and comprehensive lessons from our customers. Their inputs will be analyzed and subsequently will constitute an output which we would be able to offer to various stakeholders across NATO. The initiative is undeniably concurrent with the NATO response to the COVID-19 crisis and follows the SACTI HQ guidance. Yesterday, the director of the center took part in the DTC organized by the deputy SACTI, and these issues were thoroughly discussed and also introduced by our director, Colonel Łabęcki. The above mentioned calling letter, alongside with a data collection questionnaire, has been sent to NATO force and command structures, pro marshals, NATO MP, and national MP. What's more, we are also interested in lessons learned deliverables from operations, from the missions, simply from the ground. What is truly vital as well is that we are visible on the NATO Lessons Learned portal. We have uploaded OTCR and other documents related to the research for better understanding of transparency of not only MP community of interest, but also of other COIs. Dear all, dear participants of the webinar, as I said at the beginning of my brief, all important further details regarding our project will be introduced in the second part of the MPCOE presentation by Paweł. So, Paweł, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Major Lewandowski. I'm a staff officer serving with the Lessons Learned branch. Now let me talk about our research methodology. In order to get the best effect, we have an intent to collect lessons identified, best practices and lessons learned from the whole military police community of interest. As we are interested in all MP-related activities, the above-mentioned calling letter, together with the questionnaire, has been distributed among the military police from NATO structures, such as provost marshals and members of the MP panel. However, it is the national military police that play the most important role, because they are involved with other services in the COVID-19 countering activities. As my predecessor has mentioned, the said questionnaire constitutes the core of our research, and it will give a transparent view of the MP commitment in countering COVID-19, also including personnel engaged in operations and missions. However, simultaneously, as we are awaiting feedback from the target audience, our personnel is using open source online platforms, for instance, Facebook, Twitter, and newspapers, to identify selected information related to the research areas, which will be presented in a minute. After a thorough analysis made in close cooperation with the military police customers, the outcome of this project is going to be a part of the NATO Joint Analysis Report under development of the JAL, Joint Analysis and Lessons Learned Center. Here you can see 9 fields of the interest of our research, and all 9 divisions are directly connected with everyday MP activities, engagements during the COVID-19 pandemic, although some of them were not explored in details. In the past, or when faced in new features on the environment, they simply started to evolve gradually. This is why we have decided to trigger off the lessons learned collection in order to recognize lessons identified and best practices among the military police community of interest. So far, we have awaited feedback from the requested entities. At this moment, I will not go into details regarding all fields, but instead of that, I am going to provide you with some inputs connected with the 3 of them. Individual protection. As you already know, coronavirus spreads through the air by droplets, and therefore special safety measures have to be applied in order to protect the personnel against infection. That is why the military personnel, including MP, have to follow strict rules. At the very beginning, individual protection in some countries was not as strict as it is today. After some time, soldiers were authorized to use different protection depending on the range of their responsibilities. They varied from the basics, as example, gloves and masks, through goggles and isolation clothing. In some armies, like Sweden, individuals can choose protective equipment depending on the situation. Cooperation with other services and crisis management are the other interesting fields, and And a lot of military police departments support national resistance against COVID-19. They are cooperating with other government services such as police, medical service, or border guard. Most of the tasks are directly connected with the MP functions, for example, security operations and freedom of movement. Yet, additionally, there are some mechanisms which have not been activated before COVID-19. We would like to identify more details about relations building, basic training concerning additional tasks, chain of command issues, and shared command and control systems. What is more, we would like to get the whole picture of MP within a national or a NATO crisis response management. As it has been said before, we are still waiting for further feedback. When it comes to that, we will do our best to answer the key question: what is next? Today, the COVID pandemic is present in almost every part of the world. There is no doubt that this crisis situation has already forced us to introduce changes in our life, our role, our work, and obviously it has great impact on our health. The aim of our research is to revise and enhance the NATO MP capabilities in order to meet the requirements for having a safe and secure environment. So far, we have identified a few areas that, from our point of view, are highly crucial. And after all research is conducted, we'll do our best to answer the following questions that could also be referred to as challenges. First of all, there is the question how to provide a safe and secure environment for our troops. Secondly, how to prepare military personnel, not only MPs, for future situations, not only related to infectious disease, but also other crisis situations of a different kind. Another thing is an education and training solution which can be found. However, also we will be interested to answer the question how to use new technologies to support the human effort. How to deal with hybrid threats, including cyber domain during such situations. There are many more queries, yet it should be highlighted that we are at the beginning of our research. That is why, in cooperation with other stakeholders, we wish to piece together the puzzle and get the picture of the future MP which are prepared for not only common challenges, but also for showing readiness for quick reactions to complex problems in adverse conditions. You are more than welcome to pose questions regarding the points you are interested in. In addition to that, we would also appreciate any comments you have to the MP lessons learned research.
Thank you very much, Jens, for this comprehensive presentation. In fact, you answered already one of my questions to you, showing how the different, the military police in different countries, how they are dealing with a pandemic and how they are supporting the local authorities. So let me ask you maybe some other question. As you know, one of the main tasks of the Center of Excellences, including ours and yours, is the education and training. And based on that, what you experienced so far, how you see, how you consider to organize the courses or exercises in the future?
Once again, please, sir, because it's hardly to hear you.
Okay, my question is, the one of the main tasks for the Center of Excellence is education and training. And based on the so far gained experience, how you consider to organize courses and exercises in the future?
Okay, so do you hear me? Because, sorry, there was a kind of interference in your question, but I believe I got the point, the core of the question. So in terms of the education and training, so first of all, we as a center, we focus on individual training, which is a pillar of education and training. So as I show on the slide, we believe that a kind of more blended education and training solutions should be considered, which means practically a mix of stationary on-site courses plus e-learning courses. In terms of the exercises, so we are not the provider of the exercises. We are part of the XCOM of the other cells within the exercise scenario. Nevertheless, we also believe, and we have heard some, let's say, information so far that also kind of online learning opportunities have been started. And we believe that NATO as a whole should look at this direction. That's my answer.
Thank you very much for your inputs.